He ghosted me all December, then Christmas exposed the woman he was hiding. By Christmas morning, I already knew he was gone. But what I didn't know, what shattered me, was that the world would find out before I did. One post, one smile, one woman tagged where I was supposed to be, and in that moment, I stopped being heartbroken and started becoming dangerous with the truth. Before I continue, please subscribe to my channel to see more interesting stories. The silence that screamed New York City. He didn't break up with me. That would have required courage. Instead, Marcus faded. No December date nights. No good morning texts. No plans for Christmas. Just silence so loud it echoed through my Brooklyn apartment. On December 3rd, I sent the last message first. Are you okay?
Scene.
No reply. By December 10th, I stopped asking questions and started counting patterns. His Instagram still updated. Gym mirrors, skyline shots, carefully cropped loneliness. No women.
No tags. No me.
I told myself he was overwhelmed, that the holidays were heavy, that love sometimes went quiet. Christmas Eve arrived with no call. Then Christmas morning came, and so did the knife. At 9:14 a.m., my phone vibrated. Marcus had posted. He stood in a sunlit living room in Aspen, arm wrapped around a woman in red pajamas. Her head rested on his chest like it belonged there. Caption: Grateful. Merry Christmas, Red Heart. My name wasn't there, but my future was on another woman's body. I didn't cry right away. Shock has a way of freezing pain before releasing it slowly like poison. That was the moment something inside me hardened. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to confront him. I was going to understand everything. And then, quietly, end him. The woman in red, Aspen, Colorado. Her name was Claire Whitmore. I found it in under 5 minutes. Marcus always underestimated my attention to detail. That was his first mistake. She had soft blonde curls, a clean aesthetic feed, and the kind of smile that said new beginnings. Her stories were public.
Aspenski Lodge.
Fireplaces. Champagne flutes clinking. And then I saw it. A photo from December 6th, weeks ago. Marcus's reflection, barely visible in the glass behind her. So while I was waiting, he was building a life with her. I scrolled until my chest ached. She wasn't the villain. She looked genuine, real, unaware. That realization hurt worse than the betrayal. Because Marcus hadn't replaced me with chaos. He'd replaced me with peace, or at least the illusion of it. I closed the app and stared at my ceiling, letting the truth settle. This wasn't an affair. This was a transition. And transitions leave trails. I didn't message her. I didn't block him. I didn't react at all. Instead, I opened my notes app and typed a single line. Document everything. Revenge didn't need rage. It needed timing. And December had given me the gift of invisibility. Receipts don't lie, Boston, Massachusetts. I flew to Boston 2 days after Christmas, not to chase him, but to reclaim myself. That's when the receipts started surfacing. Marcus and I shared a cloud folder for future plans. He forgot to revoke access. I found hotel confirmations, Aspen. Dinner reservations for 2. A jeweler's email draft labeled Claire Ring Options. Dated December 12th. That was the night he told me he was working late. My hands trembled, but my mind sharpened. I exported everything. Screenshots. PDFs. Metadata. Organized.
Timestamped. Clean.
Pain tried to interrupt me. I ignored it. Then came the bank alert, our joint savings account. He'd withdrawn money. For her. He didn't just abandon me emotionally. He financed his escape with our future. That night, I stood in a hotel bathroom staring at my reflection, mascara streaked, eyes hollow. And I made a promise to myself. I would not scream. I would not expose him recklessly. I would let the truth reveal itself, publicly, beautifully, inevitably. Marcus thought I was gone. What he didn't realize was I was finally watching. The perfect silence, Chicago, Illinois. Marcus texted me on December 29th.
Hey.
Been thinking about you. I stared at the screen for a full minute before responding. Me too. Hope you're okay. That was it.
No accusations.
No questions. Men like Marcus panic when the woman they wrong doesn't chase. He called the next day. I didn't answer. Then again the next. I let him sit in uncertainty. The same one he left me in all December. Meanwhile, I followed Claire's stories quietly. She was meeting his friends, wearing his hoodie, living inside my almost life. But cracks began to show. A caption changed, comments disabled, a subtle sadness behind her smile. Truth has gravity. It pulls everything down eventually. I wasn't plotting chaos. I was letting consequences breathe. Because the best revenge isn't loud. It's inevitable. And Marcus was running out of places to hide. The invitation, Los Angeles, California. On January 3rd, Marcus sent a voice note. I messed up. I want to explain.
Can we meet?
I agreed. Los Angeles. Neutral ground. Public place. What he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that I had already spoken to someone else.
Claire.
Not with anger. Not with blame. Just truth. And she had something to say too. The stage was set. And Marcus was about to walk into a performance he never auditioned for. The table between us, Los Angeles, California. Marcus arrived late, like he always did when he wanted control. He smiled when he saw me, relieved, almost cocky. As if my calm meant forgiveness was already loading. Rebecca, he said softly, reaching for my hand. I let him touch me, for exactly 3 seconds. Then I pulled away. We sat across from each other in a sunlit cafe in West Hollywood, pretending this was just another conversation between two people who hadn't quietly destroyed each other. I didn't mean for things to happen this way, he began. That sentence is the anthem of cowards. I nodded, said nothing. Silence makes liars nervous. He told me about confusion, about pressure, about needing space. He didn't say Claire's name once, but his hands shook when his phone buzzed. I watched him unravel. His words tripping over themselves, his story folding under its own weight. You disappeared, I said calmly. I grieved you while you were still alive. That landed. He looked at me, then really looked, and realized something was different. I wasn't asking for answers. I already had them. When we stood to leave, he said, I want to fix this. I smiled for the first time. You can't, I replied, and walked away, leaving him with the bill and the first taste of loss. Her side of the story, San Francisco, California. Claire's voice trembled when we spoke. Not with anger, with betrayal. I didn't know, she said quickly. He told me you two ended in November. I believed her, because lies sound rehearsed, and hers sounded wounded. She told me how Marcus showed up in December like a miracle. How attentive he was. How he said he'd never loved like this before. Men recycle their best lines. I found things, she admitted. Your name. Old photos. Files. I inhaled slowly. So the truth was already leaking. I didn't poison her against him. I didn't need to. I simply asked, what would you do if you knew everything? There was a long pause. Leave, she said, but not quietly. Claire wasn't my enemy. She was my mirror. Two women sold two different futures by the same man. Before we ended the call, she said something that stayed with me. He likes women who forgive. That's when I understood. Marcus didn't fear exposure. He feared accountability. And accountability was coming, beautifully wrapped. The cracks appear, Denver, Colorado. Marcus spiraled. Text after text. Calls at odd hours. Apologies that grew increasingly desperate. I miss us. I made a mistake. Claire isn't what I thought. That one made me laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. Meanwhile, Claire went quiet online. No posts. No stories. Then one photo. A simple image of her hand, no ring, captioned. Sometimes clarity hurts, but it heals. The comments exploded. Marcus called me immediately. What did you tell her? He demanded. I stayed calm. The truth, I replied. There it was.
Fear.
Not of losing her, but of losing control of the narrative. I realized then that the real revenge wasn't confrontation. It was letting everyone see him exactly as he was. And Marcus was about to become very visible. The public unraveling, Seattle, Washington.
Claire posted the timeline.
Not names. Not accusations.
Just dates.
December 3rd, December 6th, December 12th, December 25th. Women filled in the blanks themselves. Screenshots surfaced. Mutual friends whispered. Someone tagged Marcus by mistake, then deleted it too late. The internet is patient. And ruthless. Marcus called me crying. I'm losing everything, he said. I thought of Christmas morning. Of the woman in red pajamas. Of the silence he left me in. You lost me first, I replied. That night, he deleted his Instagram. But the damage was already archived. Truth doesn't disappear when you log out. The last thing he expected, Austin, Texas. Marcus showed up at my hotel. Unannounced. Uninvited. Unhinged. I need you, he said. You're the only one who understands me. That was his final mistake. I looked at him. Not with love, not with rage, but with clarity. You don't miss me, I said softly. You miss who you were when I protected you. He froze. Because it was true. I handed him an envelope. Inside were copies of everything, bank withdrawals, messages, confirmations. I won't expose you, I said. Life already is. He dropped to the bed, defeated. As I walked out, I felt something unfamiliar.
Peace.
Because the ending wasn't mine to force. It was his to live with. The cost of vanishing, Atlanta, Georgia. When Marcus disappeared from social media, people noticed. Men like him believe silence erases accountability. But in reality, it invites curiosity. Mutual friends started reaching out, not to comfort me, but to confirm what they were already hearing. Did he overlap? Were there two of you? How long did you know? I answered carefully, truthfully, without embellishment. I didn't need to convince anyone, patterns do that on their own. Meanwhile, Marcus lost his job. Not officially fired, just quietly let go. His company valued image, and his image had cracks they didn't want reflecting back on them. He texted me at 2:17 a.m. I never meant to hurt you. That sentence arrived too late to matter. Pain has an expiration date. Accountability does not. I stared at the city lights from my Atlanta hotel window and realized something important. I wasn't waiting for an apology anymore. I was watching consequences mature. When the mask slips, Miami, Florida.
Claire called me again. I saw him yesterday, she said.
I didn't ask why. He cried, she continued. Said he didn't recognize himself anymore. I closed my eyes. Men like Marcus mourn the loss of admiration, not the people they break. He asked if I thought you'd forgive him, she added. I laughed, not cruelly but honestly. I already did, I said. That doesn't mean I'll return. There was silence on the line. Then she said, thank you. For what? For not making me feel stupid. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about restoration. Marcus had fractured two women's sense of reality. And now, without raising my voice, I had helped return it. The thing he couldn't undo, Phoenix, Arizona. Marcus sent flowers. Expensive ones. Rare orchids. The kind that scream regret instead of love. The note read, I'll spend my life making this right. I sent them back. No message.
No acknowledgement.
Because remorse without change is manipulation in better packaging. Later that day, a mutual acquaintance forwarded me something. Marcus had applied for a new job and failed the background check. Not criminal, reputational.
People talk.
Companies listen. Your character follows you into rooms you've never entered. That was the moment I understood. I wasn't destroying him. I had simply stepped out of the way and let him meet himself. The quiet applause, Nashville, Tennessee. I returned to Nashville to visit my sister. She hugged me tightly, as if she could still feel the old hurt clinging to my skin. You okay? She asked. I'm different, I replied. That night, as we sat on her porch, my phone buzzed. A message. From a woman I didn't know. I saw what happened with Marcus. Thank you for not staying silent. I almost dated him. Then another. And another. Stories overlap when the truth surfaces. Marcus hadn't just betrayed me. He'd patterned this behavior. And now, the pattern was public. I didn't respond to any of them, but I felt something powerful settle in my chest. Validation, not from applause, but from impact. Closure isn't loud. Salt Lake City, Utah. Marcus sent one final message. I hope one day you remember the good. I typed. Deleted. Typed again. Then sent this. I remember everything. That's why I left.
No anger. No insults.
No need for the last word. Closure isn't a confrontation. It's the moment you stop waiting for someone to become who they promised to be. That night, I slept through the entire evening. No dreams. No weight on my chest. For the first time since December, my heart wasn't bracing. It was resting. And somewhere deep inside, I knew. The final payment hadn't arrived yet, but it was on its way. The life he lost, Portland, Oregon. I saw Marcus by accident. A rainy afternoon in Portland, the kind that makes the city feel like it's holding its breath. He looked smaller.
No talent code. No confidence tried.
Just a man waiting for a bus, staring at the ground like it might answer him. He didn't see me, and I didn't announce myself. Because revenge isn't about being seen. It's about being free. For a moment, my chest tightened. Not with longing, but with grief for the version of him I once believed in. Then the bus arrived. He boarded. And so did the truth. I had outgrown him completely. That realization was worth every tear December cost me. The offer he never expected, San Diego, California. A recruiter called me. I almost ignored it until I heard the company name. Marcus's former employer. They were expanding. New leadership. New culture. They wanted me. Not because of him, but because of me. The irony didn't escape me. I accepted. Not out of revenge, but alignment. Sometimes poetic justice isn't what you take. It's what you're given when you finally stop settling. The truth comes full circle, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Claire invited me to coffee. This time in person. She looked lighter. Stronger. I'm moving, she said.
New job.
New city. I smiled. We talked, not about Marcus, but about healing, about learning, about listening to red flags when they whisper. Before we parted, she said something I'll never forget. He didn't break us. He revealed us. We hugged.
No bitterness. No rivalry.
Just two women choosing themselves. That was a victory no one could take away. The apology that meant nothing, Kansas City, Missouri. Marcus emailed. A long one.
Therapy.
Reflection.
Growth.
The usual vocabulary men learn when consequences outpace excuses. I hope someday we can talk, he wrote. I didn't reply, because access to me was no longer a reward. That night, I deleted every photo. Not out of anger. Out of completion. The past had served its purpose. The calm before the final truth. Washington, D.C. I stood in my new apartment overlooking the city, watching lights flicker on like stars finding their places. My life felt aligned. That's when I received the notification. A message request. From someone I didn't expect. Someone tied to Marcus's future. And suddenly I understood. The story wasn't finished. The final truth hadn't landed yet. And when it did, it wouldn't need my voice. The message that changed everything, Washington, D.C. The message was short. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Marcus's mother. My breath caught, not from fear, but from surprise. She asked if we could talk. Said she had questions. I agreed. We spoke the next evening. Her voice was tired, heavy with disappointment. I've been seeing things, she said. Hearing things. And now. I don't recognize my son. I didn't attack him. I didn't defend myself. I simply told the truth. The silence on the line was long. Then she whispered, "I raised him better than this." That sentence carried more weight than any public exposure ever could. The Inheritance of Consequences, Baltimore, Maryland. Marcus's mother emailed me a week later. She thanked me for my honesty, my restraint, my dignity. Then she said something I never expected. She had removed Marcus as executor of a family trust. Not out of anger, but principle. "He needs to learn that character matters," she wrote. I sat with that information quietly. This wasn't revenge. This was consequence delivered by lineage. The kind you can't argue with. The kind that echoes. The final fall, Newark, New Jersey. Marcus showed up one last time. Not at my door, but in my inbox. "I know you didn't do this," he wrote. "But everything is gone.
No job. No reputación.
No safety net." And for the first time, his words didn't ask for forgiveness. They asked for understanding. I replied once. "You didn't lose everything. You lost what wasn't built honestly." That was the end. Christmas comes again, Vermont. 1 year later, snow fell softly outside a cabin in Vermont. I stood by the window, watching lights glow across the valley. No phone.
No anxiety.
No waiting. Just peace. I thought of the woman I was last December. Aching, abandoned, invisible. And I smiled. Because she survived. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She became. The posts that went viral everywhere. On Christmas morning, I posted one photo. Just a quiet image of coffee by the window. Caption: "Some men disappear in December. Some women find themselves." No names.
No explanations. The internet did the rest.
People shared it, screenshotted it, added their own stories. Marcus didn't need to be mentioned. He was already understood. And that was the most significant payback of all. Not humiliation, but truth remembered without me saying a word. If you're watching this and you've been ignored, replaced, or erased, remember this. Silence isn't weakness. Patience isn't submission. And dignity always outlives deception. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting the truth finish the story for you. Thank you for listening to my story. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos.